it's Shannon, and it's Thursday, so that means it's Teen Thursday. And as you can see, I've got a lot of books to talk about today, and a lot of amazing ones that just came out this week. So we are going to jump right in with some of our amazing events. If you guys have not joined us on Teen Thursday before, I am the teen specialist here at Book People, so I'm always ready to talk about any of the awesome YA books that are out and available. And upcoming books. Oh my gosh, if you have any reason to talk about books or a question or comment or anything, put it in the comments here on the video, and I will gladly try to answer them either now or later at another time when I can come up with an answer or, you know, have a second to check you guys. So I've got my phone down here so I can see your comments. So if you guys make any comments during the video, I will try to get to all of them. And then other than that, guys, like I said, lots of stuff. First and foremost, if you guys did not see, the Texas Teen Book Festival announced their keynote speakers this week. We just sent out a huge blast about it. It's kind of everywhere, so I'm sure you saw it. But if you didn't, the keynote speakers are going to be Nick Stone, which if you did not read Dear Martin, now's your chance. Go out and pick up Dear Martin. It's such an amazing book. It's one of those that's really opening up conversations that need to be had. And then on top of that, we also announced that we will be having both Neil and Jared Schusterman coming out this year. So they have a book that they've written together. Jared is Neil's son, and they have a book that they wrote together that is coming out. And they will actually both be out at the festival talking about all of the amazing things that are happening. So if you guys haven't seen those announcements, you need to follow the Texas Teen Book Festival on Facebook. If you have, then awesome, good job, and be prepared because there are a lot more. For those of you who've never been to the festival, it's in October. It's usually the first Saturday of the month, and we've got about 35 different young adult authors that show up every year. So this is going to be another one of those great opportunities to meet some of your favorite YA authors here in Austin. So we hope that you'll come out and join us, and keep your eye on the on all of the Facebook pages for that and for Book People, because we'll have lots of information to share with you coming up about all those different things. We have events going on here in the store that I want to share with you guys as well. If you can't see the giant poster, Stephanie Garber is going to be here this June, on June 9th at 6 p.m., and we are really, really excited. If you didn't read Caravel, it's such a good book. Caravel is so amazing, and the sequel actually came out just Tuesday. And this is one of those amazing fantasy books where you can't help but get sucked into the world. It's so much like there's more in the colorful, mesmerizing, and immersive sequel than there was in the Breakout. And if you guys didn't read it, there's a game involved in this book. There's a journey to a fated ball. There's a game. You're stuck in the system, and you really, oh my gosh, how do I say it without giving it away? There's so many great things in this world. After the last book, there was an escape. There is an escape. We build up, of course, to this wonderful sequel. We think that everything's fine, and then things just get worse. And there's these two sisters. We had one story. The girls should be celebrating. They should be excited. They should be all of this wonderful stuff after what happened at the end of the first one. But of course, that's never the case. So kind of like how in the Hunger Games you think, oh my God, Katniss won. We're free. Everything's good. This is going to be amazing. Where could it possibly go wrong from there? We see one of the girls throws herself back into the competition once again, and she's back in the game. And there's more murder, there's more destruction, there's more secrets, there's more lies, and there's just so much more dark, beautiful storytelling that you guys are just gonna die for. So if you have not read the first one, it is in paperback, it is here, you should totally check it out. And then you should bring both of them on June 9th so you can actually meet Stephanie and hear her talk about how she created this fantastic world, and see how you can get her. You can get her signature. You can get a chance to ask her all your questions. If you guys have never been to a Book People signing, they are free events if you want to come in and hear the author just speak and everything. And then if you purchase a book, you actually can get it signed here in the store. So there's a great opportunity there that you guys definitely want to take if you've never taken it before. And this is one of those authors that you're not going to want to miss because she's amazing. And I'm trying to see what you guys are saying on the internet. So other than that, like I said, huge week, and we have so much. I don't want to miss any opportunity to tell you what's going on. Since we're talking about fantasy, I'm going to jump right into what has been called one of the most anticipated books of the year by at least 5 sources. Entertainment Weekly called it one of the biggest new fantasies. BuzzFeed called it empowering and had it on their 2018 most anticipated list. It was also on Goodreads' most anticipated title of the year. It was a Bustle most anticipated title of the year. It's been called Must Read by Refinery29, and a series to watch by Pace Magazine. And if you guys read The Hazelwood, the author Melissa Albert actually called this book I'm about to tell you guys about the most epic feminist fantasy ever. So this book right here, Fury Born, I am so excited. It sounds amazing, but on top of that, to have so many people like saying this is one of their most anticipated books of the year is just an absolutely phenomenal thing, because it's very rare that everybody all agrees on what's the one. And it's got blurbs from Kendara Blake, from Laini Taylor, like I said, Melissa Albert, from Roshni Chokshi. There's so many people who are like, this book is amazing, and so it's definitely one you have to pick up. And for those who don't know, it's about 2 fiercely independent women who live centuries apart. In their world, there's a prophecy about 2 queens, a queen of light and a queen of blood. And in one generation, there is a girl who is found to have tried to save her best friend, and is found out that she is one of the prophesied queens. And so she must prove that she's the Sun Queen. And in that trial to prove that she's the Sun Queen, she must face 7 obstacles. And these 7 elemental magical trials might very well kill her. If she's not the Sun Queen, she's going to die. If she is the Sun Queen, they're probably going to kill her because they're worried about the prophecy. So basically, she's in a really bad place, but she's got to prove it in order to try to save her friend, and that's really what it's all about to her. So while her story is going on, we see a parallel story of a girl who's alive 1,000 years later and who has heard all of these stories about the other girl as if they were fairy tales. For her, this 1,000-year-old story is something that's just a story, just a fairy tale, just something that you tell kids that's been passed along. But now she finds herself in a very similar situation. She believes herself to be untouchable. She believes that she's this queen, and she's fine, and everything's great. Or a bounty hunter, sorry, not the queen. A bounty hunter, and everything's great. And then her mom is kidnapped, and she is forced to do what she needs to do, which is what proves that she may very well be one of the queens. And so she's having to face all of the war and all the trials as well. And so this is a story that spans millennia, that has 2 girls fighting for their lives, fighting for their powers that they may or may not have even known that they had. And it's just one of those severely epic stories where we get to see two different characters struggling with something similar. And I love when we see those dual contrasting point of views where it's like, okay, well, what's happening, and now to have them be in 2 different millennia and in such a similar situation, it's great because one has zero knowledge of what's going on, and the other has the idea that all of this was a fairy tale. So it's really cool. And I didn't address either one of these books. Let's see. I like the artwork. It's got the cover artwork kind of done into the spine, which is really cool. And I'm sure that the two crowns and the sword are obviously representing the 2 queens, and I want to see how that comes into play. It's interesting that Kendara Blake is one of the people that blurbed it, because to me it definitely seems like the 3 Dark Crowns kind of mentality and that whole thing. So I'm glad to see that it's going to be in that same vein, because that series is so phenomenal. So I can't wait to see what happens with this one and where it goes. Other than that, guys, since we're talking about big, amazing things, I mentioned this on our Instagram, but The Strange Fascinations of Noah Hypnotic also came out this week. If you guys have not heard of this book yet, I'm not really sure how. This book has been everywhere. It's all the buzz in contemporary lit. Everybody's been talking about it, and I'm really excited that it's finally here because now we can share it with the world. And what's really great about this is it's from David Arnold, who did Mosquitoland, which I know a lot of people really enjoyed. And with this one, Noah is one of those people who, like, he believes in history, he believes in facts, he's just normal, like, kind of guy who has all this going. And then one day Noah gets hypnotized and everything changes, but only just. Like, his mom has a scar on her face that she didn't have before. His dog, which used to have a limp, is all of a sudden, like, really likeable and can do whatever. His best friend, who, like, swore DC was the greatest thing that ever happened to comics, all of a sudden is like, I really love Marvel. Like, DC's dumb. Why would I do that? And so, which is really confusing. If you guys are friends with comic book people, when they go from one end to the other, it really confuses everything. And so Noah's like, I don't really know what's going on, but all of these little behaviors have changed amongst my friends, and all of a sudden history doesn't seem to be right. Things that are planned for the future are no longer planned, and it's just everything's a little bit different. And so it's kind of one of those, it's being described as a surrealist portrait of the way things happen, like, amongst friends, like the way we hurt our friends without knowing it and the way they stick by us. And I think it's just a really great, awesome, like that color scheme. A really great way to look at that, because it's just having those slight changes, it kind of makes you register, like, okay, wait, what's going on here with, like, these people, like, and start paying attention. There's a quote we talked about in our book club that for YA that was from the Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda, where he said he didn't really know what any of his friends' parents did for a living, and he didn't really know a lot about his friends. And it's one of those where you think, like, okay, you kind of have all the trivial information that you've put together over the years, but we don't always dive deeper with friends. And it's great to see this conversation, like, started with Noah and his friends by these little tiny changes in their lives. And for those of you who are like me and need to have signed copies of everything, David Arnold actually did school visits for us yesterday. And so he came in and signed a bunch of books. So it was really great to see, to have him out and have him doing all this awesome stuff, and getting to get signed books. So if you guys want to get a signed copy, you can come get one. And thank you, David, for stopping by yesterday and doing that, and for visiting all the schools. I heard great and wonderful things about his visits and how much the schools loved him. So hi again, Jane. Thanks for watching on both Instagram and Facebook. That's awesome. And yes, Girl Made Out of Stars. I will actually bring that one up next. I'm going to just flip this up a little bit for you guys. Turn up the microphone just in case. I don't know. Maybe there we go. Okay. All right, guys. So yes, it was. We were really excited to have David stop by. So Girl Made of Stars, since Jane brought it up, this actually came out last week, but I didn't have a copy yet to talk about. So this one's pub date was actually last week. And I'm really excited that we finally have a copy, because I wanted to talk about this book so much. Girl Made of Stars is another one of our contemporary stories, and we've had a lot of them this year that have been really, really deep, meant for conversation starting pieces. And this one is one of those emotionally gripping stories about facing hard truths in the aftermath of sexual assault. So I think this one, it's going to kind of be one of those conversation books that you compare with, like, Speak or things like that, where you can say, like, hey, these are the ways we need to have this conversation. Here's a great book. And so for this one, Mara and Owen are as close as twins can get. So when Mara's friend Hannah accuses Owen of rape, Mara doesn't know what to think. Can her brother really be guilty of such a violent act? So she's torn between her sense of her family and her sense of what's right. Like, she wants to help. She wants to help her friend. She wants to believe her brother. She just can't really comprehend how you could do that. And so there's this sense of openness in this book where you actually have to have that conversation. And I absolutely love that in the wake of everything with the Me Too stories coming out in different, like, all across the world and different things, to have a story where we can say, sometimes it's hard to believe like somebody might do that. It's hard to like, and where do you, and so you end up like, where do I fall? Like, what side of the fence am I on? And is it wrong to be protective of my brother who I don't think who could do this? Is it wrong to be on the side of my friend? And so it's really great to see how Mara struggles with this and how she comes to terms with everything in the book and how she can really like get that conversation started amongst people. So a great story, a great, like I said, just one of those gripping emotional YA books that we've seen a lot of this year. And I really like that our contemporary books are touching on a lot of those more and more deeper subject matters that we might not, we like sometimes you need those. Sometimes you want the happy-go-lucky love story, and sometimes you want the deeper story. And then speaking of happy-go-lucky love stories, for those of you who met or who read Sundara's last book, When Dimple Met Rishi, here is a new book coming out, and I'm so excited. This one is called From Twinkle with Love, and it's one of those that's being praised as a great follow-up. So we had, When Dimple Met Rishi had tons and tons of buzz, and everybody loved it. It was such a cute story. If you did not read that one yet, definitely pick it up. It's one of the cutest books that I read last year. Oh my gosh, was that last year? And so this book is another one of those charming romantic comedies, and this one's about a teen filmmaker who finds her voice and falls in love. And basically, the aspiring filmmaker in Wallflower Twinkle has stories she wants to tell and universes she wants to explore, and if only the world would listen. So when fellow film geek Sahil approaches her to direct a movie for the upcoming summer festival, she's all over it. It's the chance to publicly showcase her voice as a director. Dreams come true. The fact that it gets her closer to her longtime crush, which is Sahil's twin brother, is dream come true times two. When mystery man In begins emailing her, Twinkle is sure it's Neil, finally ready to begin their happily ever after. The only slightly inconvenient problem is that in the course of movie making, she's now in love with Sahil. So it's such a great story, one of those wonderful summer ones that you just absolutely have to read and gush and just talk about it with your friends. I feel like there needs to be a summer romance book club that we all just have here on the internet or something, where we gush about all these books that come out that are full of amazing summer stories. But this one of the things I love about it is there are so many teens that are getting into the film, into the love of making films, and the more and more books I see that come out that are about teen filmmakers just makes me so happy, because there's so many great teen films being made on YouTube and stuff. We actually have a member of our teen press corps who just won an award for one of her films. And so it's great to see teen filmmakers getting some love in books. Yes, it is going to be a nice beach read, Jane. It's such a fun, lighthearted book, and we have a lot of those. And I think it's next week or the week after, there will actually be the Teen Press Corps blog will have their summer beach read guide that you need to pick up. So if you're looking for a lot of summer beach reads at the beginning of June, the Teen Press Corps always posts their list of summer beach books that you have to have. So keep an eye out for that. We are going to skip over to Anger is a Gift, and I didn't even grab it, did I? No, I didn't. Well, Anger is a Gift is another new one that just came out, and it's one of those about a boy who is just one of he fits all the criteria for being the devoted son, the loyal friend, affectionate boyfriend, perfect nerd, but sometimes he wishes that he could just actually change his life. He's tired of having panic attacks. He's tired of being this community case. He's tired of having a horrible night long time ago that's just made his entire life a target for everybody else's opinions. And even when he's at school, you feel like he can't change anything. And so tensions hit a fever pitch and tragedy strikes again, and he's left with a terrible choice of give in to fear and hate or realize that anger can actually be a gift. So really excited about that. Sorry I didn't bring the cover up here for you guys to see, but it's going to be another one of those where we see teens dealing with issues that puts them in the spotlight for something and we spend so much time telling people keep calm, don't do this, be the perfect student, be the perfect rational person, be the perfect son, and a great this and a great that, and this kid is one who's doing all of those things, and all he really wants is the ability to speak out and say what's happening, and this tragedy gives him the opportunity to do that. And I think that it's another one of those really exciting stories where it's nice to see that people see how people handle those emotions that they're so used to pushing down. Another book that's in that same contemporary vein of heavy stories, this is Monday's Not Coming. And one of the things, there's a Netflix movie called Whatever Happened to Monday, and every time I hear this book, it makes me think of that, Whatever Happened to Monday, because it's about a girl named Monday that's missing, and that's pretty much like the only connection that they really have, because the Whatever Happened to Monday is a completely different story. But also a great Netflix original movie. You guys should check it out. But this one, it's by Tiffany D. Jackson, who did the book Allegedly. And this is another great book by her, and it falls in the vein of like the E. Lockhart mystery kind of book. So if you've been looking for that mystery thriller that you can take with you all summer long and just really get into, this is going to be it. And I actually just had a conversation with a couple of teens yesterday in the store about how we love the mystery thriller department of the young adult world is really growing. So this is a great one where Monday Charles is missing and only her best friend seems to notice. Of course, best friends always notice when the other one's missing, and it seems like the best friend in this one is the only one that realizes there's an entire human missing from the planet. She's not at school for weeks, she's not anywhere at home, and like her parents don't seem to care, the teachers don't seem to care. It's like nobody else realizes that there was a human named Monday Charles who is now missing. And so when Claudia has nothing else to do but to be the one to figure it out herself, and then she discovers that no one can seem to remember the last time they saw Monday, and it's weird that all of a sudden this girl is just completely gone and nobody cared that they didn't see her. And I love that the cover is just like perfectly clean. I know I'm usually like, oh my god, look at this fantastical cover, but I love that when this is something about a girl that vanished and disappeared and nobody knows like what's going on, that the cover is plain. And this book is actually called A Mesmerizing Punch in the Gut Story about the power of friendship and the horrors hiding right in front of us. And I'm really curious about what that means. Mystery thrillers, like I said, have been getting more and more intense in the YA world, and so I can't wait to see what is going to happen. And I know her Allegedly book by Tiffany D. Jackson was actually one of Jason Reynolds actually did a blurb for that, and you guys know if Jason Reynolds likes something, so do I. So Monday's Not Coming is going to be a great one that you guys should check out, especially if you're looking for something a little more intense. Yes, Shane, it's like a clean slate, exactly, and it's perfect for a missing girl who nobody knows that she ever existed. We've also got, oh my gosh, there's so many books. Okay, we are over, I'm going to do Driving by Starlight next. This is a debut YA novel, and it's a friendship story set in Saudi Arabia. And if you were watching last week, we had the book that was set, dual narrative book here, and with all the like war-like climate that happens in a lot of our city streets right now, and was paralleled to the mother in the book who was a teenager in Bosnia, and it was a story that was like, we saw the mom's teen days in Bosnia and the girl's current teen days here in America. And so I thought that was a really great story that we didn't get to hear that voice a lot. And this one is kind of similar in that this is a voice that I feel is very underrepresented, and I'm glad that we're getting to hear it. This is, like I said, two girls in Saudi Arabia, and they are tired of having to live with all of the rules that they have. They are best friends, and they have all these little small rebellions that they do against the Saudi culture. They wear secret Western clothing, they listen to forbidden music, they flirt with people. But the big thing is that Lena, one of the main girls, wants to go to college, and she wants independence, and she wants a different life. And while her story is specific to her and her world, where women are forbidden to drive, where a 10-year-old boy is the natural choice as guardian over a fatherless woman, it's ultimately a story about family, friendship, and freedom that transcends cultural differences. And I just really think that this is one of those stories where it's a own voices story where we really need to hear what are those little things that you can do in your own community to start rebellions and to live up to who you are and be independent. And you cannot see this very well. Maybe I can't get close enough so you can, but the design of the book is carved into the front of it. So all that little texturized design that's on the cover, which actually is raised, and you can feel it a little bit across it, is actually carved into it. And I'm really curious to see if that plays some kind of connection to the story. It's also a Junior Library Guild Association's pick for selection for books, so I definitely recommend this one. And I'm really curious to see where all the story goes. Kirkus Reviews actually called it a powerful message about the complexities of being a woman in a man's world. And we know no matter where you live, there are a lot of complexities to being a woman in a man's world. And then the last one that I have up here with me is The Brightsiders. And I've actually been looking forward to this book for a really long time because anybody that has pink and purple hair is obviously somebody that I trust more than anybody. So when she becomes an unreliable narrator, I'm sure I'm going to be like, well, I really thought she was going to be a good person. But no, this is done by the same person, Jen Wilde, who did Queens of Geek, and I am a huge nerd, in case you guys didn't know that. So I always tend to migrate towards all the books about geeks and nerds and everything. I have on a Wonder Woman dress right now, so like really, if it's about anything nerdy, I'm in. But in this book, this is about a girl who's a rock star drummer in the hit band The Brightsiders, and her life should be perfect. But of course, when you find out that you get to that high level of celebrity, you realize that the paparazzi only wants one thing, and that's to watch you crash and burn. And so she is on the hot seat all the time. And when a night of partying ends up landing her in the hospital, she becomes the latest tabloid train wreck. And we see how the story unfolds. We see like she has her friends and her bandmates and all these people that she knows like are there to help her. So she leans on them, and she knows like hooking up with a band member, which is something she's really tempted to do in the swoon-worthy Alfie, who's been helping her pick up the pieces of her life, is like the worst thing she could possibly do at this moment. But of course, that's like what she does. And so she continues to be in the spotlight and on over and over again, like stuck in these tabloids, and she can't get out. And it's a really great like coming of age story, and when your life is on display, which on a small scale, a lot of teens' lives are right now. A lot of all of our lives are with everything on like Facebook, social media. You can't really like get away from it. So it's really great to see like when your life is on display and everybody's watching it, like how do you recover from one mistake after another, and how do you actually just end up being happy. So really great book. Really like Jen Wilde is just one of those people who tells excellent stories, that everybody is always out looking for like what she's going to do next. So 17 actually called Queens of the Geek, the geeky queer book of our dreams. So it's nice to see that she's back with something that's equally like buzzworthy and wonderful to talk about. The last book I didn't actually bring up here, but it's one of those that's going to be a great graduation gift, or a great just summer light like thing that you can pick up and put down. It's one of those anthology type books where you don't really have to read it all the way through, but it's going to resonate with you over and over again, and probably be something that you keep around forever so that you can go back to it and share with others. And it is actually Light Filters In, which is the book of poems by Caroline Kaufman. And Caroline Kaufman is Instagram, I guess at this point you can say she's an Instagram influencer, and she has always put her poetry up on Instagram. And this is the first time that she's done it in like an actual book form, I believe. But it's a hardcover collection that has a lot of new material, and then has some fan favorites from her Instagram account. So this is a really great way to see how like social media motivation and like social media thoughts like, and something that like has impacted people all around the world, like when combined into this anthology, here's a great way to find like new poems to fall in love with. And I'm really excited. Poetry collections are one of those, like I said, that I just kind of keep on my shelf forever, and I'll go back when I'm like, oh, I'm having like this bad day, and there was that poem that spoke to me. And this one is considered to be kind of like Milk, in the same vein as Milk and Honey and Adolescence. So if you guys have ever read any of those poetry collections, you will probably like this one. Caroline Instagram, if you guys want to check out some of those, is Poetic Poison. And there are some of the books featured, or some of the poems featured in the book on there, but most of the book is going to have a lot of new content. So if you followed her and you're curious about what else she has, I would definitely check it out. And then that is all we have for new releases. I'm so excited about, like I said, about Legendary and about Furyborn. Oh my god, I cannot explain how excited I am about Furyborn. This is going to be such a great story, and I can't wait to see, because something that epic is actually considered #1 of a series, and I want to see where the series goes. It's been a really long time since I've been like, I have to have like a new series and really dive into something, and this is one of those that's like got me inspired, that I really, really want to get sucked into a world, and that I hope is going to be that world. Other great things happening, like I said, Stephanie Garber is going to be here on June 9th at 6 p.m., so you can come out and get your copy of Legendary signed, as well as Caravel if you have it and it's not signed already. Jennifer Donaldson will actually be here on June 2nd, which is hard to imagine that that's only like a week from this Saturday. But Jennifer Donaldson will be here on June 2nd at 6, and she is the author of Lies You Never Told Me. We talked about it a couple of weeks in a row here on the live stream, but it's a creepy YA thriller set partially in Austin. So it's great for fans of Pretty Little Liars. If you guys are into that show, you're going to love this. It's one of those like mysteries that just keeps you circling back. And then we also have on June 6th, we have our young adult book club for adults. So it's Second Start of the Right. If you guys have not actually attended before, you should come check it out. It's free. It starts at 7 p.m. here on the 3rd floor at Book People on June 6th, and we will be talking about Shadow and Bone and how Leigh Bardugo is the greatest thing to ever happen to the world, pretty much. It's one of those, like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. But we will be talking about Shadow and Bone, which is the first in the Grisha trilogy series. And so if you haven't read it, you still have time. You can actually come pick it up. If you are buying the book club book, you actually get, for book club, you actually get a discount on it. So just let them know you're buying it for the Second Start of the Right book club meeting on June 6th at 7 p.m. And then we also have for teens, so all of you teens watching and even some of the younger kids, we are announcing this week that we will be doing summer writing camps. I believe it's already up on our website. But we will be doing writing camps for grades K through 3, for grades 4 through 6, and then 7th grade and up, we will have a teen young adult writing camp. Come learn how to build some of these fantastic worlds like these authors do, how to do your setting, how to make your characters like really, really strong, how to tell the story that's like hiding inside of you that you've been wanting to tell forever and didn't know how to get out. We'll show you all you need to do. Have a great rest of your day too, Jane. Thank you for watching. And then for those of you who just really want to like tell your story, you can come out and tell your story during that camp, and it's going to be great. And we will be having published authors come out and visit during those camps as well as some cool activities and prizes that you guys can get. So that is all that we have this week. Like I said, since I have you here and we're talking about Legendary, I almost forgot. We've got some amazing Legendary swag that we'll be giving out for the event. We've got those maps. We've got Caravel themed color pencils and a sharpener, which that's like the greatest thing ever. We've got Caravel bags, which I carry my luncheon bags like these. So I'm always in favor of these awesome tote bags like that. And then there's also chocolates and bookmarks and all kinds of swag. So if you're thinking about coming to Legendary's, like the Legendary signing with Stephanie Garber, and you're not sure, I'm pretty sure you're going to change your mind. You're going to come now because you get all this free stuff just for showing up. So thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye on our Instagram throughout the day. We will be posting pictures with all of these books, and you can see a little bit more about them and where you can buy them. Don't forget to keep an eye on the Texas Teen Book Festival website for more and more announcements coming up, and pick up some of those great books from our keynote speakers. And then we'll see you guys next Thursday here on Facebook or on Instagram with all your great Teen Thursday needs. And otherwise, we'll see you in the store. Feel free to ask us questions anytime. We love to talk about teen books, so that's what we're here for. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. And